Okay, here we go. This is the problems we have here. It's 3-7A, two-step inequalities, right? There's a list of things we have to do, and we should do them in order every time. Number one, combine like terms. If there's like terms there. If there's not like terms, then the next step is to get the variable by itself. In this case, if we have a -3, I'll show you what that means. I'm going to add 3 to both sides. The reason why is I want to get rid of that -3. So I add 3 to both sides. This will go away. And this here is going to become an 8. I copy down the rest of the statement. Okay. And then I'm going to multiply or divide. In this case, I'm going to divide by -4 and divide this by -4. Now here's the catch. If you multiply or divide with a negative number, if this number that you're dividing or multiplying on this side of the equation with the variable is negative, you must flip the sign. Now I'll show you what that means here. This goes away. I got to flip that sign. I got to make t now less, and 8 divided by -4 is -2. Okay, this is going to be my answer. And then the last step of this whole thing is to graph it. To do that, I just put a line. I put -2. I want to indicate where my 0 is. I would probably think a 0 would be this way on the number line. And I like to double this number and make this a -4 over here. Now, keep in mind, if it's just greater than, you just put an empty circle for the number. That means it can't be equal to it, right? And then I'm going to make my arrow go this direction. So I'm going to use my line key, put it this way. And I draw a nice line going this way. And then wham, give myself an arrow. Okay, that's how you would solve problems like this, okay? I'll try another one, okay? So it kind of makes a little more sense. So I'm going to erase all the stuff I just put in here, except for what? Probably the thing to kind of pull it down to the next problem. I'll make this even bigger. Here we go. And you can see how this works. It's fairly straightforward. We don't need this anymore. I'm going to take this down to the next problem. So you can see how it works. Grab this. Boom. Let's pull this. I'll pull this down here. Roll this down. Got to go to the next problem here because I'm doing the same step over and over. Okay. In this case, combine like terms. Do I have any terms that are the same? Do I have 2 that say x? In this case, I'll have 1x, right? And I have a 3, so I can't combine like terms. And now I want to get the variable by itself. To get the variable by itself, I got to subtract the 3. Ooh, a little bold. Let me undo that. I got to make this a little shorter. Here we go. So I'm going to -3 here, -3 here. Okay. These go away. I do the math on this end. This comes down to 12. And this should be 4x. Then I either multiply or divide. In this case, I'm dividing by 4. I divide by 4. This is going to make x means it's greater than 3. That's my answer. So I go to my number line. I put 3. And now I got to look at my number line. I got to put 0 over here now. I'm going to double this number and put a 6. Right? And it says x is greater than 3. Okay. Keep in mind, that's one thing we were messing with today, maybe in class, was that it's going to go from here all the way out this way. I make an arrow. And because it doesn't say greater than or equal to, okay, I am going to make an empty circle like this. So basically, it can't be 3, but it can be anything greater than 3 to make that happen. I'll do one more problem. Okay. 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 Now I got one that's going to be a little tricky. All right. We're going to try this guy. First thing I do, I have my rules, but you probably should know them, right? First thing is combine like terms, right? So I'm going to put a C for that, right? Is there any combined like terms? No. So I can skip it, right? First thing I do is try to get the variable by itself. In this case, I must subtract 16. Subtract 16 from both sides. That's going to make this go away. This becomes what? Less than or equal to -24. And I have minus r over 2. Okay. Now I'm going to divide. Okay. I'm sorry, multiply here because this guy's underneath. It's dividing the r. So I'm going to pull this up and pull it over here. We've done things like this. So I'm going to put a 2 here. right? But it's a -2. When I do that, because that minus, I'm taking him with him to leave R by himself, I am going to have to flip that sign. So it's got to say R, flip that sign, less than or equal to 24 times 2, and it's negative, so it becomes 48. It's a negative times a negative. It's 48. So if I was to graph this, drop a line, put a 48, okay? They'll put a 0 here. 2 times 48 is 96. We could put 100, doesn't matter. So this becomes more interesting because now I have a circle here. This is less than or equal to 48. So that means I can fill this in, like yay. And the next thing, if I put a line, I've lined, got to go this way. And I put this way. And that's how you would solve these.